Alrighty, you guys, as you guys can see, good old Illinois decided to dump about 4 or 5 inches of snow on top of us here. So we are going to be going through the theory that I did yesterday in my last video, talking about big baits, moving them very, very slowly. We have a half ounce shaky head with my, what is this? Shakespeare Securus, or whatever that word there is. You guys can see that. Cirrus, whatever that means. Shakespeare spinning rod and a unnamed reel. I don't know the name of this reel. It's just a really good spinning reel. But we are going to be throwing this shaky head very, very slowly today. As you guys can see, there's a lot of snow on the ground. I hope it's not going to affect the video quality too much. I don't think it will. I hope it won't anyway. You guys can't see my face, but it is literally so bright. The snow is so bright outside that I'm wearing sunglasses so I won't get blinded. I mean, it is very bright outside today. It would be absolutely terrible if it was a sunny day instead of a cloudy day. It would be awful. But we're out here throwing this 8-inch slammer worm, Green Pumpkin Magic, on a half ounce shaky head, and we're going to see if I can pick up one. I don't know if we will. It's actually raining right now, so you guys can tell just off of this video alone how wild the weather is here in Illinois. So last night it dumped about 4 inches of snow all through the night. Woke up this morning and it is raining. It's not snowing, like it's just raining. You can't see the snow falling because it's raining. It's not even snow, it's rain. Pull it out of that weeds right there. Got a little bit of grass on our shaky head. This right here is what I'm throwing, a nice little football head shaky head with the 8-inch slammer worm, Green Pumpkin Magic, killer color. My favorite color for sure. You guys can see here there's some ice here on the water. It's mainly just snow buildup, honestly. It's not really even ice. It's pretty much just snow buildup. That's sitting on a very, very ultra thin layer of ice. It's just kind of floating. There's a bunch of it down there at the shallow end. We'll go down there and I'll show it to you here in a second. You guys can see here just by the edge of the pond and stuff. I have not even been to the pond today. Didn't even know if it was going to be open. But I did want to come out here and try to make a video if it was open, and it is. It'd be really awesome if I can pick up a nice fish here with this big 8-inch slammer worm. Had kind of a questionable choice between the 8-inch slammer worm and the 12-inch wrangler worm. Didn't really know what I wanted to throw today. I went ahead and went with the 8-inch slammer worm and Green Pumpkin Magic instead of the Junebug color 12-inch wrangler worm. Hang on one second. Okay, had to adjust and wipe off the camera. It has some rain on it. It is raining pretty darn good out here today. Wish I had a better hat deal for my camera to where it wouldn't be able to get wet, but I'm just kind of covering it with my hand right now, keeping it out of the rain as much as possible. But you know, you also have to use both hands while fishing, so you guys probably can't see the worm in the water because of how muddy the water is. It is a good little bit of mud in the water today. It's not clear in the slightest, but it's also not too muddy as it has been. It's been muddier this past week. It had like probably maybe an inch of visibility, if that. Now it's got probably a 4 inches, 4 or 5 inches or so of visibility. So it's clearly, or it's slowly clearing up. It's not clearing up ultra fast like I wish it would, because I have no problem fishing cold, clear water. I've done it before and I've caught fish before doing it. I just have a lot of trouble fishing muddy, cold water. I mean, it's very hard to find the bass around here when the water's muddy and cold. But we're going to fish around here for a few minutes was also one of my bigger. I had two questionable things that I was pondering between this video and another video. Is should I have went with the 12-inch Wrangler worm, and should I have went with a Texas rig instead of the shaky head? Now don't get me wrong, I love fishing a shaky head, but when it comes to big worms and stuff like that, I think that a Texas rig with a bait caster and stuff is a lot easier to fish when it comes to a big worm. You can do it with a spinning rod. I've done it with a spinning rod. I've caught a lot of fish with big baits with a spinning rod. My personal best on a giant 130 whopper plopper with a spinning rod. You know, I used to throw frogs on $10 Walmart spinning rods. You know, it's not impossible to use a spinning rod. It just it presents a little bit more of a challenge, especially when you're going with a 10, 12-inch worm. It'd be a little bit smarter of me to go with a bait caster today, but I think with the cold water, the lighter line might help a little bit. Plus, shaky heads, in my opinion, are a little bit better at keeping bottom contact than a Texas rig, just my opinion. I think we're going to end up having to cut this video a bit short, either that or hang on a second. Okay, we're back here now. Pause the video to wipe off the camera again. We're going to have to do that a couple times in this video. We're going to try to make it just a little over 10 minutes. Not going to be out here for too long because it is wet, rainy, covered in snow on the ground. Not exactly best conditions. But I've seen some giants caught in these type of conditions. Just nowhere near around here though. Places like Tennessee, it seems like a lot of big bass are caught with cold weather, snow on the ground, and everything else. But around here in Illinois, there's never big fish caught, so, you know, it's kind of a shot in the dark when you're actually going to try to catch a big one. Usually around here where I'm at, the bigger ones start biting early spring and middle of the summer. The fall time's pretty decent as well, but most of my bigger fish have came in the middle of the summer or in the early summer, late spring. That's just when I've had the better luck. You know, I've caught two personal bests in April, one on a frog and one on a head and top water torpedo. I caught one in September, which was my last one, which still stands at 5.2 on a whopper plopper. And then another one of my, or no, actually two of my personal bests came in July. One of them was on a drop shot, and the other one was on I want to say it was on a swim bait, but I can't really remember. It's been a while. I can't remember all my personal bests, but if I remember right, it was on a swim bait. I don't really remember though. But we're going to throw this guy around for a little bit. Keep on chug-a-lugging. Might pause the video and continue back up with it here in a minute or something. I don't know. We'll cast her up in the shallows. I doubt there's anything there because most of it's ice, but we'll do it just to see, you know. There's some rabbit tracks running around over here. There's a lot of rabbits that like to run around in dark. Not covered in grass, so that's surprising. Usually when I throw a shaky head up in that area, there's always a bunch of grass on it, but there wasn't this time. Snow is very slick today, as it is usually. Plus it's getting rain, so that'll put a nice thick layer of ice on top of the snow. That'll make it even worse. But we're going to throw this guy around for a little bit longer here. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and wipe off the camera again. Alrighty, we are back again. Sorry about that. Probably wasn't too much of an inconvenience for you guys. It's pretty much just one little split second, but it's been a few seconds since I turned the camera back on. a lot of water building up on the screen of my phone, which if you guys didn't know that, that's what I use. Look at there. There's a bunch of little ice particles on my line there. Thought it was frayed there for a second, but then realized it's like 12 degrees and it's cold, so it's not frayed, it's just ice. But I hope you guys do enjoy this video, because I am doing something pretty stupid here today, doing this video out in the snow and rain and everything. I do hope you guys enjoy this video. I guess I can go ahead and sneak in some tips and tricks and stuff here while I'm fishing this. When I do throw a big worm in the winter time, most of the time I won't throw it in like the dead of winter. Like this time of the year, I will sometimes throw it. It just depends on the winter that we've had. You guys can obviously see it's been a pretty cool one here. You know, this is, I think, the only really good snow we've had this year, which, I mean, snow's not good, but you guys know what I mean. Most of the time when it snowed, it was just a little dusting on top of the leaves, but this time it's a pretty good amount. And hopefully this rain won't turn into an ice sheet that just covers everything, because that won't be very good. But anyway, some of the tips and tricks that I like to use with an 8-inch worm, or any bigger bait, bigger worm especially, later on. Ooh, there's a bite. Is that a bite? I have no feeling to my bait right now. Nope. Must have been. There's no grass on it, so that makes me wonder. Man, he thumped the crap out of it. If it was a bite, for being cold water like this, he thumped it really hard. I don't know if that was a bite, or maybe I popped it up onto a stick and didn't realize it. But anyway, something that I'll use a 8-inch worm for most of the time during the early spring, especially when it's just a little cool. If you guys go way back in my first video, this will actually be a kind of a showing you guys that it does work. My very first video, what I was doing that day was I was throwing an 8-inch worm, and I was throwing it on a flat that was only about 2 foot deep at the most, maybe about 2.5. And it was a big flat, like I'm talking probably close to 100 yards long and probably a good 60 or 70 yards wide. Like, it was a pretty darn good flat, and then it had a deep spot on it, which is, it was really hard to find where it dropped off, because it was so far out. You'd have to have like a super duper heavy bait just to get to the edge of it. And what I was doing was I was basically just casting that big worm in that flat, and then just slow hopping it, kind of like I'm doing right here. But I was more doing this right here, just kind of 1-2, reel up to where my line's tight, 1-2, and that technique I think caught 6 fish that day throwing that 8-inch worm. Yeah, the rain is picking up a good little bit here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and, actually, I'm going to reel this bait right back up here, and I'm going to make a better cast. I didn't make the cast I wanted to make there. There we go, perfect, right there where I wanted it, right in that corner. We're going to go ahead and fish this cast back in, and if I don't get any bites or anything, we'll go ahead and cut her off here. Because it is getting a bit cold. I'm already kind of losing the feeling in my hand from the water coming off of the reel. There's a good little bit of a cold front that just came through last night. Yesterday, believe it or not, yesterday morning, it was actually a lot colder than it was yesterday evening when it actually was snowing. There was like a 1/4 inch on the ground, and it felt like t-shirt weather. It was so much warmer in the evening. Even though it was snowing, it felt so much warmer than it did in the morning when it wasn't snowing. I don't know why that is, but my dad said that he's seen that quite a bit. When it snows, it seems like it's a little bit warmer. Car driving way too fast for the road conditions. That's something that happens a lot around here, and I don't understand it. Like you can see, I mean, it's snowing and it's raining and there's a lot of ice and stuff forming. Quit driving 60, 70 miles an hour down a road that you don't know if somebody's going to pull out in front of you or if a deer's going to jump in front of you or what. It's just stupid. I don't understand why people act stupid like that. I just don't understand it. Probably will never understand it because I've been around a lot of stupid people that don't understand how to drive for the conditions. You know, if it's snowing and it's got ice on the roads and they're calling for ice on the roads, don't be going no 60 mile an hour down a highway. That's just stupid. Slow it down. We're all going to end up in the same place anyway, so might as well just slow down, take your time. So I hope you guys like this video. If you do, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. If there's anything in this video that you want me to elaborate on or anything like that, let me know. If you guys want to know the biggest tip for fishing bigger worms in colder water, number one tip, if you've even made it to this far into the video, bottom contact is a huge key. If you can keep your bait on the bottom, you can most likely catch the fish. So thank you guys for watching once again. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments if you've made it to this point in the video. It'll help me figure out how many people are actually making it to this far into the video. Thanks for watching once again.